at the intersection this morning, and I cannot believe how beautiful it is outside. I mean, it is like walking in sunshine because that's exactly what it is. It's so beautiful. So, good morning. Um, and I just remembered I have a dear friend. It's her birthday today. I better not forget. Anybody else got birthdays out there that you need not to forget? You know, it happens, right? Like, hit me. So, good morning. It's great to see you here at the intersection today. We have been focusing on our environment and our environmental collaborative of San Antonio, EcoSA. And so we're going to get another one of those presentations today. But before that, we're going to open up for any announcements that people might have. There's some really exciting things that are going on and places that we could meet in the next week. I looked at my calendar and I'm like, I have got something every night starting Saturday night through next Friday. And so Martha Ann, do you want to say something about the film on Saturday night?
First, I want to say, because we have Judith, that right behind me are chili piquin grown in the community garden at the University of the Incarnate Word. So they are to welcome you, nature person. There's going to be a wonderful film on Saturday night, Ubuntu. And when I was first in Africa, I learned about this philosophy, theology, I am because you are. And so a rock star, originally from Great Britain, Pato, was in 5 African countries and worked on this powerful documentary. So it's Saturday evening. I'll put info in the chat about it. Come learn. And once you learn about it, it might be something that we want to show all over town in our groups to get to know more about the riches of the philosophy and theology of the African peoples.
And this is something that Compassionate San Antonio, Compassionate USA, is doing in partnership with the International Charter for Compassion. So these are our partners from Africa that we're working with. Talk about working with something larger than ourselves, right? It's exciting. And the person who put it together, he's going to be there. That's exciting too, right? So exciting. I believe on Monday, I'm checking it out to get my things right in my head. On Monday, there is potluck that's happening at Grace Lutheran Church downtown, an interfaith potluck. It's kind of the next step from the San Antonio Festival of Faith. Some of you might have attended that this year, actually, during Dream Week in January. So the many faiths in our community coming together, sharing a potluck meal together and celebrating that. If you're interested in signing up for that, I will put into chat unless Wendy Holbrook is here. Wendy, are you with us? She is not. So I'm going to put Wendy's email in there in chat. And then if you're interested, you can give her an email. Hey, I'd sure like to attend that, right? On Monday night. I'm getting them all confused in my head. There's so many different things. Here she comes. On Tuesday night, the 19th, from 5:30 to 7, there's a book read at the Twig from one of our local authors, Reverend Julie Rowe. Julie, are you with us? That's okay. But it's at the Twig, at the Pearl, her book, When Prayers, help me with it, Martha Ann, the title, When Prayers for Peace Are Not Enough. And it's about Israel and Palestine. Her book, she's going to be doing a book read. And I know there's going to be some community conversation during that. So 5:30 Tuesday night at the Twig. No registration or anything. On Wednesday, all day, we're also partnering locally with the International Charter in a global summit. with Compassionate USA partners, 9 to 4. I will put that link into chat. No cost, but we're going to be hearing from people globally on what they're doing, efforts on the ground in terms of compassion. And so that's also a big step for us locally to be partnering on a global scale as well. So I'll put that information there. Anyone else? One more. All righty then. Well, then I'm going to turn it over to Judy. Judy is the co-chair of EcoSA. And those folks now have been gathering, let's see, November, about 2 years now. The first gathering was in November. And man, they were the largest group to meet for the first time in terms of a community collaborative with 75 different organizational partners. And they have really have gotten some traction. It took a little bit, for everybody to kind of like, how do we co-labor? How do you do that, right? But man, once they've figured it out, things really have started to move along. So Judy, I'm going to hand it to you. I'm going to ask you one technical question. I am going to look again to see if you sent me another email. I didn't see it a second ago, but I'm going to look for your photos while you begin. Tell us about gardening and what that does in terms of community.
Okay, well, hi everyone. Good morning. Glad you all could join us. I'm here to talk with you, and my partner Dom from Gardopia Gardens is joining me as well. I've been the garden steward for the Terrell Heights Community Gardens since 2013. When we applied for a grant from Green Space Alliance. Green Space Alliance is the organization here in San Antonio that helps to fund community gardens throughout the city. Without their support, we would never have been able to get off the ground. So that was 11 years ago, and we're still going strong. Through the years, we've been blessed with being able to reach out to our community, to be able to add on to different things. We were able to enlist the support of St. Philip's College construction science students to design and build our shed and shelter combination. Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts over the years have built benches and a harvest station for us. Our garden is actually situated at one end of a public traffic island in our neighborhood. The Terrell Heights neighborhood was built in 1940 to 1944 for basically Fort Sam personnel, medical personnel attached to Fort Sam. The houses are well built, but they're small. We only have about 800 homes. But the designers of this neighborhood intentionally put throughout the neighborhood green spaces where people could come together and sit underneath a tree, congregate. And we were fortunate that this traffic island has sufficient land to allow us to basically set up one end of the traffic island. We have an adopt-a-spot agreement with the City of Public Works. Anyway, this has been a wonderful journey that I've been on with many of my neighbors, and we come together at least once a week to help keep the garden clean, mow it, take care of the beds. Sometimes we'll just get together for a cup of coffee in the morning or a bonfire at night, and just get to know each other. It's been a wonderful experience working with everyone. The other thing that's kind of unique about our garden is that almost everything in the garden has been built with repurposed materials. The shed and shelter itself were repurposed fencing, cedar fencing. We did buy the posts with some grant money, but benches and tables and chairs that are in the garden were all made with repurposed materials. We have a fire pit that we found under a pile of trash, and we brought it out and spray painted it, cleaned it up, and it's one of the places that the kids really like to sit around and have s'mores. Let's see, what else? So sorry that my slides aren't working, because that would really give you a view of what this garden is all about.
Well, I did find the website, Judy. I don't know if you can see that on your screen.
Well, this is our Terrell Heights website.
Right.
Now,
But still, the pictures we're seeing and all of this, I think really is showing what you really are talking
we're
about,
very
because it's showing the pictures of
neighborhood.
people. Yeah.
We say we're the neighborhood with heart, because everyone comes out and shares in the work days. We have a wonderful children's program that meets once a month for nature-based education. And we'll teach the kids about pollinators, seasonal planting, soil health. Just recently, at the end of October, we hosted a festival called Batopia, and it was all about bats. And the previous year we did it. This is our second year doing it, and we tend to get between 70 and 80 people with kids descending on the garden, enjoying our bat-inspired food, doing a scavenger hunt, bat-inspired crafts, things like that. So that's been a lot of fun, and everyone looks forward to it. We also, to help us raise funds, we have a yearly yard sale that is in conjunction with our entire neighborhood participating in yard sales. So we have about 30 families throughout the neighborhood doing yard sales on the same day, and the focal point is the community garden. That's where everybody comes and gets their maps. That's where we have the food trucks, the water, they can get water and baked goods, and it's a wonderful, wonderful time. And frankly, that one event carries us financially throughout the year. So that's good. And I'm going to close, and I'll turn it over to Dom in just a minute, but I want to say that what I have noticed in these 11 years, that the benefits of having a community garden accessible to everyone. Our garden is not, we have no fence around it. So people can come whenever they need to come and sit and just commune with nature. Look at the birds, see the butterflies, feel the wind. It's all there, and they can just do that. So what it does is it helps people slow down, helps people de-stress. It encourages them to eat healthy. We have a communal plot, and people are welcome to come and pick the lettuce, pick the spinach, little tomatoes, Brussels sprouts, whatever's in season. We ask them to take what they need, but leave for others. And so far that has proven quite well. People really enjoy it. The other thing that I've noticed, because we have several people in our community who have family members with Alzheimer's or autism or ADHD, and we've opened the garden to them to come and participate in any capacity that they can, whether it's one of our garden members has a son who is autistic, and he absolutely loves to mow the grass, but he can't use an electric mower. So we purchased one of those push mowers, and the joy on his face is just spectacular. let's see. One of our other neighbors, her mother has Alzheimer's. And when she comes and gets to pick the vegetables or the plums off the trees, she starts talking about her life in a way that she didn't before. Anyway, to sum it all up, our garden is a wonderful place for people to come and just enjoy it in any way that they possibly can. And we have been very fortunate to have a receptive community. Our neighborhood association has given us their blessing and on occasion some financing. And so I hope it will be there for many, many more years to come. And I invite anyone to come to Terrell Heights. Be happy to give you a tour. We are located right behind the McNay Art Museum at the corner of Greenwich and Larchmont. So thank you very much. And Dom, I want to turn it over to Dominic. He's the Chief Operating Officer with Gardopia Gardens. And his story, his journey that he's been on with Stephen Lukey is absolutely incredible. So Dom, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Hello. I first want to make sure everybody can see my screen. Are we good to go? Can I get a thumbs up?
We can
a head
see
nod?
it.
Okay,
We
perfect.
got it.
Wonderful. Okay, well, welcome everybody. My name is Dominic. Most people just call me Dom, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Gardopia Gardens. I'm really excited today to just introduce Gardopia Gardens and the work that we do. It's been close to almost 10 years of working in the community. So there are 3 executive staff members of Gardopia. Our head is Stephen Lukey. He is the CEO of Gardopia. His background is in nutrition. And then we have Sherry Lim, who's our Chief Learning Officer, an incredible person, as well as being an educational guru. She is also a pastry chef. So if you're ever looking for a good pastry, you have Sherry. She leads our culinary efforts and our education team. And then you have myself. Really, where I put my focus is the business aspect of Gardopia, and then my interest is in environmental science. This work can't be done without our teams. We have 2 teams. One is an education team, and the other one is a stewards team. These are a few of them. People like Nina is an attorney. People like Daisy is an urban farmer, and Ashton, and so on and so forth. It's an incredible team that we get to work with to accomplish our mission. And we also have our stewards, so the people who go out and build and install the gardens all over San Antonio. People like Fred and Andrew and Ryan Cohen, they're wonderful individuals to work alongside. And so we're small but mighty. And every day we have the privilege of going in the community and working with young people. So Gardopia, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and our mission is to grow healthy communities through garden-based learning. And our core values, I keep near and dear to our heart. It is education, health, and environment. And simply put, we go to community centers, churches, schools, libraries, parks all over San Antonio and educate individuals about how to be healthier through garden education. And it is a blessing to do that. It is a lot of it's a lot of fruits and vegetables. It's a lot of kids. It's a lot of gray hair. You may not see it, but I'm changing up here. But it is good work because there is a critical need that's out there to be addressed. Our headquarters, we're in the east side of San Antonio, the Near East Side. And this comes with, you know, many different narratives behind our history of where we are. But I will bring us back about 10, 15 years ago to this location, which is known as the East Side Promise Zone, or the EPZ. This was a historical designation that happened in 2015, where President Obama looked at 22 sites all over the nation. And these were locations that were needed to address crime reduction, look at how do we enhance public health, how do we increase economic activity, How do we look for innovative educational uplifts? And so this was given a designation called the EPZ, which was allowed for additional federal points to be scored on applications. And so Gardopia started with a whopping $10,000 back in 2015. And as such, it's grown to what it is today, from a $0 organization to a $1.7 million org, where we transformed the location at 619 North New Braunfels into what you see today. I would invite everybody to come out to Gardopia and take a look at what's growing. Everything such as features, such as last week where we had our solar panels that were installed. We have aquaponics, hydroponics, chicken coops, the community garden, a community tool library, a microgreens eatery, a mushroom education lab. The idea is that when people come to our headquarters on Saturdays, that they're able to go and be involved and engaged and learn how to grow their own healthy produce. It's interesting to say that this is where we were just a decade ago, and this is where we are today. And really, that's the power of community stewardship and all of you all. And I see a lot of friends in this chat. That makes me very happy. I see David Davis, I see Kate, I see Peter, and many, many other people
Yeah.
who are here. So thank you to be, wonderful advocates for this. Uh, what is interesting to me is looking at the crime data associated with having this particular nonprofit at our location, the corner of Nolan and New Braunfels. When we go and we look at the calls for service all the way from 2015 to 2022, we can see that 2016, we saw a peak in the number of calls for service. That's when somebody picks up the phone and says, I need emergency services, right? And I call 911, and here we are. In 2016, there were 177 calls at the corner of Nolan and North New Braunfels. And then in 2022, that number had gone down to 11. Now, I don't want to say that that's Gardopia that made that happen, right? That it takes community ownership in order to truly change the narrative of everything that's around us. But think about innovative ways for safety. As we look at where our most needy populations are, it's important to know and be evidence-based as we look at our census tracts. And this is nothing new to people here, right? We look at our most impoverished zip codes, the near east side and the near west side, 78202, 78207. And these are changing back and forth, as well as Brick City base. We look at children who are living in poverty in our inner city, and this is even reflected in the city of San Antonio's Equity Atlas tool. All right, so how do we accomplish our mission? There are 5 programs that Gardopia does. I invite everybody here to come and volunteer with us. We have our garden-based learning program. I'm sorry, our garden volunteer program. Come on a Saturday, right? 9 to 11. Come get involved and work with our educators, work with our stewards, work with me, right? Work with all of our staff, right? Either at a school, a university, or at Gardopia's headquarters. We have our garden-based learning program where we go to our schools. Right now, we're at 60 educational sites, and it is a lot to work with. But if you have a volunteer group, there's a lot of people here who are associated with their church. Maybe they're, in a club. Maybe they're tied to a university. Come volunteer with us there. We have our Build a Garden program, where we go and we build gardens at particular locations that are of high need.
And make sure to announce chess club today, girls, please.
And then we also have our farmers market program. So quarterly, Gardopia has farmers markets. We are a Texas Department of Agriculture certified farmers market, where we give out produce to the community, as well as have healthy cooking demos and live music, and really exciting. And then lastly, for those of you, and I know David Davis on this call, he's a podcast listener, but we do have a podcast. So go check out your phone on your drive and type in Gardopia Gardens and hear what is all the conversations that we're having with people at a local level all the way to the national level. We have a YouTube series as well as a magazine. These are a few of our partners. We work with quite a bit of school districts. As I said, there's a lot of kids and fruits and vegetables and gray hair. And this is what it looks like when our work is in action. think it's really important to remember, how do you know that you're really focusing on our critical need? Well, the city of San Antonio has the Equity Atlas matrices, or the Equity Atlas tool. And what it does is it looks at census tracts and indicates whether or not that census tract is scaled anywhere from a 2 all the way to a 10. And it's no surprise that who you are and where you come from determine your outcomes in life. And so our goal is to move towards that inequity. And so we reference the city of San Antonio's Equity Atlas tool, which combines multiple indicators such as, race, low income, redlining, education, and more. And we want to prioritize those schools that are in most need. So here is a old map back in 2023. There's a lot more that are there. I apologize. I haven't been on my ArcGIS game here in a few months. But as you can see, the majority of sites that we work with are in inner city. And that's not to say that we won't go in other places, but really tailoring to and honing down on those sites that are in critical need are things that we're going to do. I'd invite everybody to come and sign up for our newsletter. I'll leave this QR code right here. We don't spam you. We only do it one time a month, maybe two at most. But if you're interested in volunteering, if you're interested in just learning how to grow organic fruits and vegetables, if you'd like a potential partnership with us, you know, feel free to reach out. We're here to support our community and really launch them forward. I will say, out of all of this, the biggest takeaway is this. When we go outside and we work with our young people, when we're working with our community, when we were there in COVID, we saw the garden be a great equalizer. We saw people who were scared during COVID-19. And for them to come out and, have the social distancing that they need, that was good for their mental health and to bring us back into close cohesion with each other and the relationships that are formed. We've had people who are politicians. We've had people who are houseless. When people come to the garden, we are all, at a level playing field. We are instilling the environmental education that is so much needed in our young people, um, inspiring our next wave of individuals. So at 10 years old, we're about there. But at 20 years, and I hope we can, well, I know we're going to go another 10. At 20 years old, that's where I really want to make it to. That means you've educated an entire generation. That's where you really start seeing your long paradigm shift occur. So thank you all for letting me come in and talk your ear off for a good 12 minutes or so. I appreciate it. And then I'll pass it back to Anne.
Thanks, Dom. And I want to invite everyone to open up their microphone. Everybody. All at once. I don't see the microphones opening, but open those microphones and we're just going to say, yay, Gardopia.
Yay, Gardopia.
Hey, Gardopia.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Anne, I have an announcement. I totally forgot about it.
Go, Judy.
Yes. Okay. Garcia Street Farm at 218 Garcia Street on the east side, which is just down the street from Gardopia Gardens. And Garcia Street is managed by EcoCentro. They are having their farmers market tonight from 5 to 8 or 5 to 7. Check out their website at EcoCentro. But their produce is absolutely phenomenal and it's very reasonable. And it would be great if people could go out and support him and say that you saw on today's The Intersection information, wonderful information about community gardens, because they really do have an impact in the communities in which they're located, and they do change lives. And the more we can get to the young people, like Dom is saying, what he's doing in the schools, what Gardopia Gardens is doing in the schools is so very important. And so through organizations like Gardopia Gardens and Green Space Alliance, EcoCentro has its phenomenal gardens right on the park and behind the parking lot and on the premise of EcoCentro. So all of these places are assets to our community. Can you imagine if we didn't have them at all anywhere if we didn't celebrate preserving green spaces throughout our city, or working with, for example, our Parks and Recs and Bare Branches Alliance to put trees in our environment, to have trails. I mean, our city is very, very blessed to have so many opportunities and locations throughout the city where people can go and just get de-stress, commune with nature, smell the flowers, walk barefoot in the grass, all of those things that keep us grounded. So anyway, I invite you to Garcia Street tonight. And then on December 7th, EcoCentro is hosting from 9 to 3 a Green Santa Sustainability Fair. So again, check out their website. There'll be several environmental groups having tables. There'll be craft projects for kids to do. Spare Parts is going to be getting people involved in making things that you can have as a gift for the holidays. We'll have plant sales, music, food trucks. It'll be a fun event. So
what an amazing morning you all have brought to us.
Right.
Yeah. I'm wondering, Dom and Judy, if you would each put your email or how to get in contact with you into chat. We're going to take a really brief pause. I see Peter is with us. Those who I know people have already having to leave. We try to get the most of it in. What a briefing. And again, this is recorded. It's going to be put online at Sacred as well as the Faith-Based Initiative. A great resource, these recordings, for when you're sharing with other people, right? Like teams in your organization or at your congregation. You know, like I heard about Gardopia this morning and community gardens. And instead of just, you know, telling your version of it, you can go to the recording, right? And you can even pull out a portion of it or whatever so that the Dom or Judy can tell everybody that you know as well. Your neighborhood association. I highly encourage using the recordings. And I know a lot of you out there do that. So yay. Next
just
week,
wanted,
yes.
I wanted to say thank you to Dom because, as a matter of fact, the San Antonio Volunteer Administrators from United Way, we're on our way out there for a community service project at 9 o'clock this morning. So exciting. What beautiful weather we have.
Yeah, you go United Way too.
So, yeah.
So next week we are going to be hearing from Peter and another aspect of EcoSA, some micro grants that were offered through the city and some other things, but how those micro grants have made a difference with specific examples. And he's really rolled up his sleeves. I love how you finished, Judy, with it, you know, community gardens keeping us grounded. What a great term. And right there on terra firma, right on the ground.
Yes.
So those who've had to leave or still need to, thanks for being with us. And we'll see you next Thursday when Peter is going to share even more great info. So back to our conversation. Yay. Any questions, thoughts, conversations among all of us here this morning? You can just go ahead and open your mic. Yes, sir.
And if I might, so I'm going to be married to a master gardener, so I'm sure Judith and Dom know all about the master gardeners quite well. And I'm thrilled to see they create the garden. So the master gardeners will teach you how to do it, but they don't do it. They don't go and run your garden. I love the fact that Gardopia runs a facility, that Judith has examples of running a training garden. That's exactly how you get the youth involved and people of all ages. I'm sure we've all seen the experience of a young person pulling a carrot out of the ground and looking at it horrified, like, you expect me to eat that? But that's where food comes from, and they don't learn that any other way except to go through that experience. So if you have questions on gardening or you need someone to come out and teach a class on a topic, the Master Gardeners, they also have an event next it's early March next year for Cultivate, which will teach you all about how to do gardening. So they're a resource for you, and I'm sure Judith and Dom know all about them and use them.
Yeah, you need the whole spectrum. And you know, this farm girl is just loving this conversation. And my favorite carrots were right out of the ground. We'd wash them off, roots and all, you know, in the well water, and just eat them right down, you know, to the greens. So, yum. Other thoughts, questions that we have this morning? If anybody wants to get involved with EcoSA or find out more about it, this collaborative meets the first Monday of every month at high noon. And we do that to remind us how important the sustainability in our environment is and where we are and how, you know, we just have to step up and what we're doing collectively for our planet. So it meets mostly virtual, but once a season meets in person for 2 hours for a longer period of time over at EcoCentro, which is a part of Alamo College district on Maine. That's on Maine. So it's those great ways to get connected if you want to be a part of that, or if you know somebody who is really into this kind of work and has specialization there. I'm going to put my email, but you all know it, into chat. Just have them email me, and I'll get them connected. I'll get you connected, or your organization. But you also have Judy's email, and I'm guessing, I wasn't paying attention, but I'm guessing that Dom's is there as well. So, any other thoughts, questions?
In the chat, the EcoSA collaborative meeting, it should be December 2nd from 12 to 2. It'll be in person. And I'm going to be working with Ann and Sonia to plan that. But if anyone else wants to contact me and be part of that event, I don't know what it's going to look like, but we're going to go out 2024 with a bang. We're going to highlight all the wonderful work that our EcoSA members have been doing with their various grants, and recommit, make the pledge to continue doing that work and more in 2025, because our environment, our climate, our families, we're all going to need it. We're going to need to just be positive and keep on doing the wonderful work that we're doing.
Do our part. One more thing I'm going to ask you, Judy, because I think they're amazing. There are now tours that are being led. Could you take one more minute, Judy, and talk about the tours that have been happening?
Oh yeah, absolutely. As part of EcoSA, we put together monthly environmental tours where we visit a facility in San Antonio that is doing some sort of work that helps protect and conserve our environment, whether it is going to see the SAWS H2 Oaks desalinization plant. We did that in October. In November, we went to, was it, trying to think, I'm now messing up dates. We've gone to the Talking Tree Farm. We have gone to visit the new and upcoming development of the Arboretum. Climate Credit Human was a tour. They have a completely sustainable building, and we got to see how they tap into the geothermal heating and cooling underneath the city. We've taken people to look at a worm farm. We went to the Edwards Aquifer Education Outreach Center. We took people down to the landfill, Colville Gardens landfill, and Atlas Organics composting facility. That was a cool trip. About 35 of us put on hard hats and vests and climbed on a bus and tootled around. We've gone to Garcia Street and Gardopia Gardens, looking at, again, the value of urban and community gardens in San Antonio. Coming up this year, we will be taking people to the new Balcones recycling facility, a state-of-the-art facility. It is will be opening for tours in January to talk about recycling. We will be having a tour of the 3-mile tunnel underneath the city that diverts flood water from the city. That will be happening. We will have a tour of the SAW sludge facility. So I don't know how many will join us for that one, but that should be interesting. And if anyone has other locations that they know of that you'd like to have people come and visit or recommend, please send me an email and I will get on that. We are now in our second year of doing tours. We started in the fall of 2020. What was it, 2023, Anne? No. Yeah, 2023, fall of 20. So it's a year.
No, it was 22.
22, that's right. That's when EcoSA.
Yeah.
So we've been going pretty good. And we average, last week in November, we took about 45 participants, went to Kelly Air Force Base, the old Kelly Air Force Base, and looked at the Material Innovation Center. And that group, it's being run and funded through the Circular San Antonio organization. They are members of EcoSA. And the whole purpose is that section of Kelly Air Force Base where the generals lived in 1930s to 40s homes. They're vacant. They need to be refurbished. But we got a tour of 2 of the homes, and then also the garages where the doors and windows and old lamps, things that are being salvaged from demolitions, are taken. And the idea is that you or other organizations could go and get these materials if you need them for your home. They're also going to be having, they got a grant from the Office of Sustainability to put together a tool library. And so one of the buildings, one of the homes there, is now being turned into an extensive tool library, where you can come and borrow tools. So there are some really neat projects happening throughout the city that together are going to really make a difference. And that's what inspires me, keeps me going.
And that's like the point of all of our collaboratives, that when we're working together, things not only expand, but it's exponential. It becomes even more than like addition, like it's more, right? And I'm just so excited. I think the story too of like Gardopia, so young, right? But there they are, 10 years, and that whole gives me a lot of hope. So we're going to draw this to close. It's 8:44. We always try to close no later than 8:45. So thank you, Judy and Dom, and there are others on this Zoom this morning who are also with EcoSA, for all your commitment to our environment and the sustainability of our planet, and for our young. And these are great legacies that we're leaving. So thank you all for your commitment. We'll see you next Thursday. If not at the farmers market tonight, we'll see you next Thursday at the intersection. Thanks all.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.